All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining me here today. I hope you're having a great time. We got, what, 2 days left or a day and a half left, so we're all excited about tonight. We'll have a really good time. Anyone else just ready to go home because I've absorbed too much? I'm just, yeah. So I'll try to keep this down to one big topic. My name is Eric Overfield. I'm president of Pixelmill. I'm also a Microsoft Regional Director as well as a Microsoft MVP. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everyone here, hopefully everybody here, is involved with SharePoint in some way, in particular with SharePoint Online, because we want to talk about SharePoint Search. The burning issue, I think, because of what happened Monday, and particularly what happened Tuesday morning with that really cool demo on what's happening with SharePoint Search right now, is when do I get to customize that? When do I get all that cool features that we just saw in all the new cool search features? And the answer is not really now. We don't have it yet. We're not going to have it probably until next year to truly customize it. So if that's being the case, how are we going to create some custom SharePoint search that will drive adoption for our end users? I think that's a pretty important thing. Okay, I'm going to be focusing on search results. I'm not going to be focusing on how to get your content into SharePoint, right? So we still have to have well-maintained content in SharePoint. It has to be tagged well. It has to have good metadata. Without that, we're kind of out of luck. So we're just going to assume that you've got good content that SharePoint can now deal with. Okay, so the good news around SharePoint is that all of the data that is available within SharePoint Online in particular, now for those of you on-prem, by the way, 2013, 2016, almost everything we're talking about is still relevant to you. I'm just going to say SharePoint Online moving forward, but again, remember on-prem, you have same basic stuff. Okay, so SharePoint Online natively searches all of our content across our entire tenant and makes it available for us to return it in search requests. Booyah, I love it. That's really cool. Now the SharePoint homepage has a really cool search interface. Your users can go to SharePoint Home, they can do a search, and they get really powerful results. As of now, that is not customizable. Hopefully by the end of the year, we're going to see all that new cool stuff that Naomi Moneypenny showed Tuesday morning. Even so, none of that is customizable. Okay, but what if we want to go ahead and create actual custom result sources? Because there's plenty of use cases where we might not want to allow you to search the entire tenant all the time. What if we want to have search for just all of our policies and procedures? What if we have a certain document library that has all of the PDFs on forms for new hires? We might want to provide a search interface just for that. So we want to create some targeted results that will allow us to have our users be able to do the job that they've been assigned to do. We're trying to drive user adoption by providing the actual value that end users need. Because I'm a SharePoint geek, I love it, I want to create a beautiful interface. It doesn't matter how good it is. If the end users won't use it, I failed, which is the same for you. If you're creating and managing a SharePoint site that's not being utilized, you failed. And good, solid search that helps provide tailored, targeted results is definitely one way to help drive that adoption and drive the value to your organizational needs. Now, I don't like to reinvent the wheel with SharePoint. I want to work with SharePoint out of the box as much as possible. But when it comes to SharePoint Search, and customized search, we do need to configure it correctly in order to drive the true value that we want out of SharePoint. Lots of ways we can tailor search to do what it is that we want it to do. Now there's three in particular that I want to focus on at this moment, and these are inheritable as well as set at three different levels. We can set them at the tenant level, the site collection level, and at the web level. So we can create something in any of these levels and the children underneath it could instantly inherit it. Well, I think that's pretty cool. The primary one is result sources. Think search scopes. This allows us to create a predefined set of results that a query can then be driven on. Again, remember, all of your content in SharePoint Online is indexed. So what if you want to get a predefined set of results for that? And you can do that. The next thing that we can do is we can build query rules. Now, query rules are extremely important. I'm going to go into them just for a little bit here. But a query rule allows you to promote a specific result based on a query, or results based on a query. So let's say somebody types in policies and procedures, or policies. You could take that keyword and you can say, we know what document they're most likely going to want. You could take that query and you can promote it to the top and do something special so that people will be like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. Extremely powerful and really helpful, but query rules are tied to result sources. So if you build a query rule, and you want it tied to general search, you've kind of got a little bit of a problem. You typically would want to tie it to a specific result source that you built. And something else that you can do is pretty cool is you could create result types. Now, result types are only available at the site collection and web level, but what result types allow us to do is create a tailored UI, a tailored display for a specific type of result. So if you have a large list of results and one of them is a PDF, let's say, you could make PDFs look different so that it's easy to find, oh, these are the PDF documents, oh, these are the Word documents. At the tenant level of SharePoint Online, there is more configuration that you could do that you should be leveraging. Please, you really want to be leveraging this stuff. Some of these things do require a full recrawl of your content. And the catch is, at the tenant level, we can't force SharePoint Online to recrawl our content right away. That's a bummer. But it's the way it goes, and it does get recrawled, maybe in a day or so, it depends. Managed properties, of course, these are things that have been around for a very long time. That's set in the content that we can retrieve and whatnot. What I want to look at is something that's heavily underutilized, query suggestions. Query suggestions allow you to basically have like type ahead. So if someone starts to type something out, you start to say, oh, hey, probably you mean this. And that's easy to do. With query suggestions, you basically upload a list of text, a list of items that you would want to be able to suggest to your end users. You upload that into SharePoint Online, and there you go. It's basically available for you, and I'm going to show you that one. Some cool stuff that you might not be using then are things like search dictionaries. Now, search dictionary is set at the tenant level. It allows you to define via the term store your company name or company names. Now, the value of that is when search is crawling your content, it's going to look for your company name in your content, and it's going to tie that automatically for you to the title managed property. So you're able to pull the title out of content. That's pretty cool. Excuse me, your company name. Something else it can do is you can provide basically like common misspellings of words, like a did you mean kind of thing. So if someone were to mistype a query, you would be able to say, oh, hey, you probably meant this, so let's go ahead and get you those results. Now, how are you going to figure out this and things like query suggestions? You're going to be looking at your search logs. You're going to look and see what are people searching for every 2 weeks, every month, whatever, and see what common searches are. And then you can help promote things. You can help build those query suggestions in those search dictionaries. You can also set authoritative pages in SharePoint Online. You can define what pages, what URLs are more likely to be valid than other ones, as well as you can demote pages and say these pages you really shouldn't return very often. And you can even do things like query throttling based on the client type. Okay, so the focus of this presentation in particular was around result sources. So I really want to go into detail on what result sources allow us to do. Again, think search scope, so no more like SharePoint 2010 idea. Those got moved into result sources in 2013 on above. What result sources allow you to do is pre-filter the content, pre-filter what's in the index based on a specific query that is based on the query builder itself. So the classic query builder we've had since 2013 is still available in SharePoint Online. And you can use that query builder to just build any kind of valid query. Say that you want to have a query that says, just get me this type of content type, just get me documents, just get me whatever that may be. There's plenty of use cases where you'd say, hey, let's define this. One popular one that I've had recently is I want to just search all the groups, all my Office 365 groups. Since all Office 365 groups have tied with it a team site, that team site is created using a web template of group. We can basically use that to go and search groups, Office 365 groups via SharePoint without having to touch the Microsoft Graph. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so if result sources are based on the query builder, and if I'm going to have to use the classic search experiences, the Enterprise Search Center, which is still fully supported in SharePoint Online, to create custom search interfaces in SharePoint Online, then what's the value of a result source? I think that's a valid question, because if it's just a query, then I can add a content search web part, a search results web part, and just build the query there. It doesn't mean anything to use a result source. Well, and I find that to be very much not true. We're trying to help our admins as well as our end users. Maybe there's a common result source you may have, like just search this policies and procedures document library, or only provide a search experience only for the policies and procedure content type. And you might want to put that all across your organization. If you create the result source once, all of your admins only have to remember how to use that result source. They don't have to remember how to build the proper query. It provides consistency across your organization. The second thing I like about result sources is that you can go ahead and once you've defined it and people start using it, your admins start using it, if you ever needed to change it, you change it one place and it will automatically get percolated down to everybody else. And it's instant. Result sources do not require a recrawl at the tenant level, site collection, or as well as at the web level. So these I think are some really cool things. Also, query rules are based on result sources. So there's lots of really good reasons why I think we should be building result sources for SharePoint. Anything else in particular? No, I think that's a good one. So I think with that 10 minutes, let's take the last 10 minutes and let's actually see this in action. I'll show you a couple of this all live. Now, please get off the bandwidth because I only have a wireless connection here. So I created a standard search center. This is SharePoint Online. This is a site template all of you have available to you. Just go create a new site and go create a enterprise search center. The reason why we have to do this again is the new cool search that Microsoft is providing through the graph is not available to us yet, and it probably won't be customizable for a little while. So if you need something today, I would build this today happily for my clients, confidently knowing that this is going to be valid for years to come and it still provides them good value. And then as Microsoft releases more features, we can go ahead and start to replace these things. I think that's pretty fair. So let's go ahead and just run a simple little search here. I'm going to run the search on the word demo. And while this is happening, I don't know if you noticed here at the bottom, a little drop down appeared that said demo. That's because I added a query suggestion. So as I started to type it out, SharePoint was like, oh, okay, cool. So I have general search results. Pretty simple stuff. Now what I've also done is I've created similar search results let me go ahead and refresh that one, for articles as well as groups. Now these don't do anything. These are based on standard search results web parts. They are out of the box search results web parts that don't do anything. Let me finally get that loaded up and then we should be able to go. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a result source that, let's say, what should I have this one do? I think I even have a demo here ready for us. Let's go ahead and let's pull out only articles. Okay, so any type of article content type would be available to me and I can go ahead and set that up. So I go into the standard site settings and I'm in the classic experiences because that's what the search center is. And I have here my search result types, my search result sources in particular. I want the result sources. Now I could also do this at the web level, but I'm here at the site collection admin, so I can go into my search result sources and I can go ahead and say I want to create a new result source. I'm going to have to give it a name once this fully loads. People, get off my bandwidth, please. That is a joke. Okay, so we're going to say demo articles ignite is going to be my result source name. I want to search local SharePoint results. All I really care about is right here. I'm going to launch the query builder. Whoops. Let's go ahead and do that one there. I'll launch the query builder. Now this is the query builder we've been seeing since 2013, and this is not going anywhere. So what I'm going to want to do is say I want to add this result source is going to use the search query itself, whatever people would type in, as well as set a content type, the article content type. All right, so pretty easy stuff. I'm able to use the property filters to say I want to get that content type info. And I don't want to keep zooming in interest in time, so I'm going to go ahead and say I want to go by content type of select value, article page, add property. And one little other thing I want to do is, this is that search query madness, and I think I'm typing this in right, test query, is I don't want any result to appear unless someone actually searched for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. While that's saving, I'm going to verify my work to make sure I did it the way I wanted to. I did. All right, let's hope this all works. We should now see my result source, which I have available. I go back to a page. This is a standard search results page. Nothing magical here. Again, something we've seen since 2013. I'm going to go ahead and edit the page. And once this loads, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to use, I'm going to go into the query builder for this particular search results web part. And I'm going to go ahead and say edit it, and I'm going to then tell it to use my new result source. No new crawl has ran, nothing magical has ran. I can change the query here. I can set my result source. And while that's loading, remember our results for the word demo is going to have some standard demo stuff. Here, yeah, that one works pretty fine. All I need to do now is I'm going to have a query here that says I can look for the demo Ignite articles. I can test query. Nothing should return, which is good. I click OK. I haven't done anything. I haven't had to remember a query. As a site admin, I can just use the result source. And once this all saves, we should see something new here. I'm going to do the search on the word demo. And if you look, the results are very different now, because now it's only searching the content types of articles. Okay, I mean, cool, right? I like it. All right, let's go ahead and go. Woo, let's go one step further. Let's go ahead and go to the search administration. Let's do this at the tenant level. Let's do something that should be available everywhere that will not require any kind of recrawl. I'm at the tenant level. At the tenant level, I can do the same basic thing. I can manage result sources. All right, I'm going to manage a result source. And this time what I'm going to do is say, let's go find everything that's related to a group only. All right, so I'm going to create a new result source. I'm going to call this one a global demo group ignite. Global, let's do it demo. If I can type demo global group ignite. I need to scroll on down, and this time I launch the query builder yet again. And the query builder will slowly load for me. And when it loads, this one is going to be, it looks similar, but it's just slightly different because it's been changed. I'm going to say that I want the, this one is just easier for me to copy. I'm going to copy it as web template group. I will create it, I will copy it, I will then zoom in to show you what I did here. I'm basically saying as long as the web template is of type group, so it's not a team site, it's going to be a group site, then go ahead and filter by that. And I am missing one little bracket beforehand. I can test this query. It should return nothing. The bandwidth is slow, so I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to click OK at the bottom in interest in time. Save. I'm at the tenant level, remember? That's the big thing I want you to remember. When I've clicked on save, we're going to go back to, this is my, my groups page that I'm working with. I'm going to refresh on the word demo. And of course, it didn't want to save that, so let's do a search on the word demo. I get some results, a lot of different results. If you look at the bottom, that's what I want you to see that it will change. Let's go ahead and edit this page. We're going to now change the result source for this particular page. And if we're lucky, we should see demo global groups ignite, whatever it said. And edit the page. Let's go ahead and go to the query builder yet again. And at the global level, it did get created. And I should now see here, and I do, demo global group ignite. No recrawl ready. No recrawl needed. It just automatically created it. I just think that is the coolest thing. And I'm going to click OK. I didn't have to know about any kind of query. I didn't know how to build anything. I know that this result source will give me only filtered results by groups, Office 365 groups based on the template. No graph needed to. I just think this is the coolest stuff. All right, if I type in the word demo now, a much different list of groups. And if you look at it, it's all based with the sites of my group sites. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I've got 2 minutes left. I'm going to see if I can do this demo. I probably won't have time, but I'm going to maybe pull you off for 1 minute. The one thing I want to then show you is how we can build query rules based on result types. So let's go ahead and we're going to scroll on down. We're going to go to search query rules. We're going to work on a query rule. Now the query rule is going to say, hey, if somebody types in this word or this phrase or this one of these words, go ahead and do something special. Now I told you that everything is based on a result source. So what I should see here is, if I can find it, my demo articles ignite result source. Now based on that, I should be able to go ahead and build. It's loading slowly, so I'm probably going to run out of time here. It's going to rebuild the page. So now I can build a new query rule, and I'm going to tell it to do something. What I'm going to tell it to do is if someone does a search for the word Bing, Lorem, or Ipsum, guess what my demo content has, then I want to go ahead and do something. I want to go ahead and promote a specific result. So I'm going to say demo Lorem. I'm going to say that I want to query starts with Actually, I want to go ahead and go into advanced query text is a little easier for me. I'm going to say if query contains a word, then I want to go ahead and do something. And I'm going to promote a result. I know I'm not zooming in, and just trust me on this. There's great articles on how to do this, but I do want to show you what the power of this is. Now, if someone types in the word Bing, I want to promote this particular article that you're seeing here, Parenting 101. So if I go back to this and I say Parenting 101, I give it a URL, I click on Save. I'm going to click on Save one more time. Oh, of course, a promoted one already exists, so that's a real shame. So let's go ahead and create a page that doesn't quite exist, but that's okay. And a description. Click on Save one more time. Come on, keep up with me. I'm going too fast for this. Now, I shouldn't have to do anything if I go back to this correctly, and this time I type the word Bing in. If I do this right, and of course it didn't work, but that's totally fine. Oh, it didn't save yet, which I'm not sure why. I don't have time. It would have worked. It would have been beautiful. And at the top, we would have seen a promoted result pop to the top. Trust me on this. It works all beautifully. So let's go ahead and just switch right back. I know I want to be very respectful of your time. SharePoint Search is having some really cool innovation coming to it. I think we're all going to want to move there, but we're going to want to still be able to customize our search experiences for our end users. In the meantime, search result, the Enterprise Search Center is still there. It's still valid. It still works really well. Use it. Be happy with it. Your organization is going to be happy with you if you're helping drive the user adoption, and custom search will help you do that. Appreciate everybody's time. Have a great rest of the night. See you tonight, I hope, all of at Universal. We'll see you soon. Thank you.